What is good, y'all? Welcome to the Tap In with God podcast. This is your host, Terrence Alexander, but y'all already knew that. And y'all know what the deal is with the podcast. It's to help you consider and trust God with your decisions because you don't need Givenchy. You need Jesus and you need God. Y'all, I got a special guest tonight, y'all. His name is Sanjay. I know him through my good friend, Cameron Evans. And this is Cameron Evans' brother-in-law. So just hashing out with him. Um, for Cameron's wedding in the groom situation. We were just hashing out, talking it up, and I'm like, man, this guy he's a good dude. He has so much wisdom. So I brought him on the episode tonight, y'all. Tonight or whatever day y'all watch it. Brother Sanjay, give it up, y'all.
Hey, what's up?
All right, Sanjay. So we're just gonna talk about living. We're gonna talk about life, how we should enjoy life, and do what we need to do to have a prosperous, joyful life. All right. So, my dear brother, first question: define living and explain the importance of it.
Living. See, this is the thing that I think we struggle with, especially as believers or Christians, because I think in some ways the church doesn't really present it well.
Mhm.
But what is living is just having life, being alive, and active or thriving. But with living, also, it's also to fulfill purpose.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, as believers, that's what God He created us for. He gave us a purpose. He gave us a meaning to our life. And so that's like really one of the biggest things. And then also when it comes to life, we tend to like we tend to go so hard in a lot of things that we do, whether it be work or with children, family, or anything that you know that we deal with on the regular, that we forget that we tend to lose ourselves in that.
Mhm.
And we don't learn to actually just enjoy and do like the little things. And one of a couple of years ago, I had a tragedy that happened. Wife passed away and everything. And I remember so many people kept coming to me as like, "Hey, Sanjay, don't forget to live." I kept hearing that the whole entire time. And I'm just like, when people tell me that, I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
I wasn't paying attention to it.
Mhm.
But then I was kind of thrown into a situation where all I do is just work, raise kids, and grieving, and all
Mhm.
these other things that I really just lost my way. But even years past, that's all I did too was just work, work, work. At one time, somebody asked me this question: "What do you like to do?" I couldn't even answer them. I didn't know what I like to do. I didn't have no hobbies, and I'm just like, that really hit me.
Mhm.
So it almost seemed like I had to kind of relive, or just I almost seemed like a kid. I'm just like learning myself all the way again. I'm 38 years old
Mhm.
and almost 40. It's like, how is somebody at that age not know what they like to do, not have any hobbies or anything like that? And I'm just like, dang, like I'm not really enjoying life.
Mhm.
I actually told God I hated life.
Mhm.
I was like, I hate this life because all what I was doing, I was also I was praying and all that. I didn't shy away from God, but I don't want to sit here and go through this.
Mhm.
But in scripture, also shows that, Jesus and disciples, they also did things besides just, preaching and, helping people. Because in John 2, Jesus and his disciples were invited to a wedding celebration. So here they are celebrating someone's wedding
Mhm.
with them,
Mhm.
just enjoying the time. And also in Matthew 9 and 10, it talks about the disciples where they went to Matthew's home, and Jesus was sitting down with all the tax collectors and all the reputable sinners, and they were just really fellowshipping and enjoying that time together. And I think with stuff like that, we we don't do enough of those things.
Yeah.
And sometimes the church over the course of time, they feel like, being a Christian, like, oh, you just gotta suffer and that's it.
Hmm.
They don't talk about just really just enjoy the little necessities of life.
Hmm.
And yes, we do go through trials and tribulations, but what does it also say in the Bible in John 10:10? It also says that God has came here to give us, He gave us life and He wants us to have a satisfying life. So He wants us to enjoy it, but also to fulfill His purpose and what He wants us to do.
And we call that balance. You got to have both. You have to be able to do your purpose and to enjoy life at the same time. Because you only, the Bible says, if we're blessed, we get 70 years. And if we get beyond that, we real blessed. So you have to make the most of the life that's given and really enjoy it. Just like you said, God says, I want you guys to have an abundant life, man. So well said, my brother. Well said. So here's the second question. Why should we not worry, stress, or create stories in our minds that rob us of joy?
Now, this is a big one because obviously in life we're going to have all these things,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay to be angry, and sad. It also, I think, is in Ecclesiastes or something like that. Where we're talking about there's a time for everything.
Mm-hmm.
A time to be sad, a time to be angry, a time to happiness, a time to laugh, a time to mourn. But it becomes a problem when we're just constantly worrying, we're constantly just um, going through this where we get in a rut, we can't really get out of it, and it really affects our mental health. And there's that saying that says, hurt people," and a lot of times we don't go seek help to work on ourselves. And God has put doctors and things out here. There's a cardiologist, there's something for people who have rheumatoid arthritis and different things, but there's also doctors out here for the mind. And the
Mm-hmm.
Bible also says seek wise counsel. And
Mm-hmm.
I strongly believe in mental health.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part that gets affected the most. And this is the area the devil attacks the most because it's your soul, your mind, will, and emotions. And um, it also says in the Bible that we must work for peace. That means we have to do whatever we can to maintain a peaceful life. And also, he also said, God also says that we shouldn't worry about tomorrow because today brings enough problems of its own. And a lot of times we go through situations. There's situations where people hurt us. There's situations where we lost someone or something like that. And when there's frustration and there's anger, if we don't try to get over that hump or try to get over that or try to get healed for that, it can actually turn into deep hurt. And it's also in a lot of in how we act and how we make decisions can be formed in fear and anger. So we're not really actually seeing correctly in a lot of situations. And we also start to assume things because of those fears and because of those angers or whatever. And we can also end up being selfish in those things too, because we may want things to uh, go our way. And those things we have to try to get a hold of because it also prevents you from living life. And, I almost slipped into depression, I think like almost twice.
Mm-hmm.
The first part, obviously, wife passed,
Mm-hmm.
going through the heavy, heavy grieving and all these other things. And then another part not too long ago where, I was just kind of dealing with a lot of different things. And God kind of had warned me about stuff like that. He said, be careful of the words spoken against you. And I didn't really pay it too much attention because he also gave me a message a while ago about guard your destiny, protect your purpose. And I thought that message was for me to like preach to like maybe a congregation or something, but he gave me a whole 7-page sermon for myself,
Mm-hmm.
basically outlining um, his walk and how I should follow that, and basically showing me what he was going through is the same way us Christians and me were going to go through. But there's a certain way to handle these things.
Mhm.
And I didn't really take heed to that. So when things started happening, that's when things got really bad. And my therapist had told me, um, uh, when I kind of explained, some of the situations and things, she asked, how much longer are you going to continue to keep dealing with these things? The
Mhm.
things that's bring you down, the things that's stressing you out.
Mhm.
Because at the rate you're going, you're at risk of getting stressed, or you're at risk of getting a stroke or a heart attack.
Mhm.
So that scared the mess out of me.
Oh yeah.
So it shows with that much level of stress things you're going through, it doesn't benefit you at all.
Mhm.
It just robs you of life
Mhm.
to the point where you're not enjoying life. You had no joy, and then you will start to you will start thinking of evil thoughts
Uh-huh.
towards people and
Mhm.
everything else, and maybe even towards yourself.
Mhm.
And and you know, see, you're about to get married.
Mhm.
You know, how would you be able to give your wife the best of you with going through, all these different traumas or things? You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Mhm.
She's not going to get the best of you.
Mhm.
So you're gonna have to work on it being the best for yourself.
Mhm.
And if that takes you to go to a counselor or working on yourself, I suggest everyone sit there and do it, because most people do not do it. And again, when it comes to the church, a lot of times they will say, "Oh, going to counseling or seeking help is not good." I'm like, you can't just heal yourself. I mean, yes, we do believe in God, but He also gives us the necessary, people here to seek help from. If you got high blood pressure, what you gonna sit there and do? Just pray to God, hey, take it away, and just leave it alone? That's not using wisdom. So certain things we have to use wisdom
Mhm.
to, to really get that help that we need. And it's these things is so difficult. It is difficult. It's easier said than done, but it's something that we all, Christian or non-Christian, will need to find ways to, I guess, learn emotional intelligence
Mhm.
and learn to figure out our feelings, how to decipher them, and and how to control that, so we're actually not hurting those around us because of how we feel.
Mhm.
And it's and like I said, these things can become very deadly, and it can tear people apart.
Yeah. And that's big facts, man. Just there's a lot being spoken there. Of course, one of the scriptures I can think of is, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are good, of good report, worthy of praise, think on these things. And of course, to transform your mind. A lot of things we go through. I mentioned this a couple of nights ago. With some people, a lot of things you go through is supposed to make you better, not bitter. And
Hmm.
you don't want to go through life being bitter. You don't want to go through life being worried and stressed about everything. The Bible mentions how, like, just like you said, don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about today. The birds are taken care of. Like the Lord God, He'll take care of us too. Once we have that, once we adapt that, we're able to trust God. Because a lot of these things, when you're dealing with all that, it's you kind of have trust issues, and you like to
Oh
control
yeah,
things. You like to control things. You always got to be in control. The Lord
yeah. See,
understands your body is not meant for all of that. Your brain and the mental capacity is not, you cannot carry all that stress. You have to give that to the Lord, and you have to talk to somebody about it, just like you said. And I too validate therapy and everything in order to get yourself right, man. So,
and
uh,
and going off of that, what you said,
uh,
sometimes and a lot of times you'll be forced to make certain decisions,
mhm.
and those decisions could be very difficult. Sometimes you have to cut certain things.
Mhm.
If there's environments or people that can be toxic,
Mhm.
you have to cut those things in to kind of maintain your peace, or for you to kind of move forward. Those things can be an imprisonment, so to speak.
Mhm.
And sometimes to get free, you have to move away. Some people may not like that type of thing, but you have to do what's best for you. Who breathes for Terrence?
Me.
You do. Who works for Terrence? Nobody but you.
Mhm,
Everything you do is you. Nobody can walk in your shoes, and nobody can, really control your life. You only know what's best for you.
mhm,
And a lot of times you have to do what's best for you.
mhm,
Yes, you can get advice, certain things like that. But at the end of the day, you use discernment and your judgment on how you are going to, live your life. Nobody can live it through you or even tell you what to do. And it, those are challenges that can arise in everyone's lives, and it can be hurtful. But Bible says we're not here to please man.
mhm.
So, and also whatever God has for you to do, you must complete that.
Yep. Absolutely true, my man. Well, let's go ahead and go to the next question, the next and last question for tonight, man. So, in your Facebook post, this is all driven off of a Facebook post Sanjay made, you guys. So, you mentioned we should make time for ourselves to pray and meditate like Jesus did.
Mm-hmm.
So, not only be the best for ourselves, but we can be the best for our families and significant others. Have you
Mm-hmm.
seen the benefit of doing this in your life? Praying and meditating.
Oh yeah. Like I said, these past 2 years, that's mostly what I did
Mm,
because I needed that. That was really the main source of power that I needed to tap into. Um, I prayed often, and more so, it was more of a crying out because really just the pain and stress. And God does answer because when you lean in more, the closer He comes, and He will speak. So a lot of the stuff that I write on Facebook is inspired through Him. He'll give me stuff to write, and that's where you hear Him more clearly. The more you pray and meditate, the better you train your ears, the better you become spiritually sensitive,
mm,
and you can hear His voice and understand His voice. And it also says in the Bible, it shows many times even Jesus withdrew plenty of times.
mm,
In Luke, I think in Luke 5:16 or something like that, it talks about Jesus often withdrawing to the wilderness for prayer. Sometimes he'll do a healing or something like that, and he'll kind of get away to get that time. And there's another one, I think in Matthew, where his John the Baptist got beheaded, and when he heard the news, it also says that he removed himself from a certain location just to be alone. So Jesus models through the whole Bible is riddled with stories, and especially Jesus, he modeled of how to handle things, the way he lived his life. But if we're supposed to live like Christ, we should model those things too. And
mm,
sometimes we do need to step away. We do need to get that space. We do need to get that time to wind down, to meditate, to pray, do some things that we like to kind of refill. I mean, it kind of sucks to sit there and just work, go to straight to sleep, get back up and work again. It's like,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
what I mean? That stuff wears you down.
Mm,
And but we do need that time. And I found I'm trying to work on that. Um, I remember one of my friends was talking about that, and they were just saying like, Sanjay, you're doing too much. I'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll keep going all the way to 10 o'clock at night.
mm,
Sometimes that's just how it is. And it was like, take a little time to breathe because now the kids, I'm getting stressed out or, kind of just getting overwhelmed or just like feeling unhappy. But it's like the kids don't deserve the unhappiness or, the lower version of me. They deserve the better version of me. So we have to, I think, sometimes take that time away and uh, try to find that time to maybe uplift our spirits or allow God to speak to us or be refilled again.
mm.
And Jesus did that to be filled or to hear or, to really connect with God. And I know in that post, I say, like, hey, just just be random sometimes, get up at night and say, hey, let's go, take your girl or something like that. Y'all go on a date, walk on the beach or something like that, just
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Just the little things in life that we do not do.
Yeah.
And you will see how when you do something like that, how you can reconnect, how can you can just laugh, you know, uh, tell you know, you could basically have a conversation of maybe how you guys met and reminisce or just whatever. But those little things can be so powerful.
Mhm.
Even like a favorite TV show or something like it. Those things can actually take your mind off of whatever, however your day was or whatever.
Mhm.
And but what you just gotta find out what's best for you.
Yeah. Well spoken said. Well spoken and said. The whole, of course, the whole motto with tap in with God is to help people. Just to get in that secret place to really consider God and just to talk to Him. Get in touch with Him, and just like you saying, we all need that refilling every day. Because life be life, and life is real, and we need to enjoy the simple things of life. We need to enjoy that favorite TV show, just like you said. If you have a significant other, go to that place where y'all first, that first date you guys went on. And they talk about in marriages, when you get married, you stop dating. And when you're in life and you get busy, you still have to have some fun every now and then too. Even if it's wedding planning, it can get very stressful. You still got to have a little fun every now and then because just to balance yourself out. So, but most importantly, you have to refill and balance yourself out with God, time with God, and with the scriptures. Go ahead, bro. I think you're gonna say something else.
No, I'm just talking about. I'm just when you say just that time to have fun.
Uh-huh.
It's just that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. And I say a healthy way.
Yeah,
I don't
healthy,
want to sit
healthy,
there people.
healthy fun.
Yeah, I want people sitting there taking that mess out of context and like, oh, what are you talking about?
uh,
But it's just in a healthy way.
yeah,
Whatever that is for you. Everybody's fun is different or
yeah,
whatever, but really just taking that and having that balance, take your time to have fun, but also still do God's will.
yeah. You guys will. That was good, man. I like what you said. Lastly said that was wonderful, man. I told y'all, look, Sanjay speaks facts, y'all. He speaks facts, and he's been through some things. He's got wisdom. He's learning. He's applying. He's getting better. He's getting healthy, and he's a good man, y'all. So y'all already know what the deal is. Continue to tap in, do good, be wise, trust God. Peace out, y'all. Thank you, Sanjay, my brother.
All right, then, no problem.